Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and in today's video let's have a look at the taxi-in and shutdown procedures in the iniBuilds A300. So we've just landed and vacated our runway and it is rather low visibility, so let's get out that airport chart to see where we are going. So, we have vacated on a rapid exit taxiway, so we are probably over here at Delta 4. So we'll taxi all the way straight on Delta until we reach November, and then we enter the FedEx ramp down here. Okay, so let's go for it. Especially in low visibility, it's important that we ensure the lights are on and that we have a good look outside to ensure that we see and read all the signs to know where we are. Now, you may be wondering, why am I doing a separate tutorial on the taxi in when I did the taxi out already? That's quite easy, because on taxi in there is one very important thing that should not be underestimated, and that's the brake temperatures. So look at that. We're at 130 right now, which is pretty good, but you could easily be at something like 500. So keeping that in mind, we need to talk about the techniques for braking on your way in. Also, quick check, Delta 3. And Delta 3 down here, so this is where we are right now. So we got a little bit of taxiing ahead in front of us. Okay, so brake temperatures after landing. Now, Airbus aircraft do have a problem with the brakes getting hot. Obviously there is the brake fan, but you want to avoid using the brake fan as much as possible, because the brake fan leads to brake oxidation and that reduces the life of the brakes. If they become too hot, it's needed, but if you can avoid it, then do try and avoid it. So what we do is we let the airplane on idle accelerate to 30 knots, and then we're going to do one continuous smooth brake application all the way back down towards 10 knots. The airplane is going to be rather light after landing, so that is especially important to take into consideration. So right now we're approaching 30. Let's smoothly apply the brakes, as we do right now, in order to reduce our speed, and then we need to make our right-hand turn into the apron in a moment anyway. So, remember the oversteering technique, like so. Alright, let's taxi around the building, and on the other side we'll enter the gates then. The APU is started, very good. And now remember, max 15 knots on aprons, so let's go ahead and slow it back down. And since we want to minimize the amount of brake applications, I'm not only going to slow it down to 10 knots, but I'm going to go all the way down to 5. Single engine taxi is a good idea to reduce the amount of static thrust you've got, and by doing that you are effectively going to reduce the amount of brake wear as well. You can see, looking down at the brake temperature, that we've already added 10 degrees centigrade just by taxiing the airplane, and it is quite easy to add even more just through the taxi. I've seen temperature increases of like 50 to 100 degrees for incorrect taxi techniques being used, so it's quite important to get that right. Okay then, we're approaching our gates. Not this one, but the next one. And as we're nearing the gate, we can turn off the lights, like that. And here we are. So, get the speed down slow. 5 knots should be very good. You can see I'm even using just 2 knots or 3 knots at the moment. Remember the oversteering technique, that is very important when you're turning into a gate with a wide body, because you barely have space to maneuver. So look at that. Now we are pretty much on the line, and just taxiing forward all the way to the actual parking spot, which again is easiest to judge if you're just looking out to the side. So you can see around about a beam there is where we want our nose gear to be, so we actually can taxi quite far up to the front. Stop maybe about here, I would say, since the nose gear is a bit behind us. Now, just look at what that looks like when you're actually looking out to the very front of the airplane. Okay, parking brake is set. So let's go ahead and shut the airplane down now. Parking brake on, APU bleed on, fuel levers off. You want to ensure that you turn the fuel levers off rather quickly after turning on the APU bleed, because the APU is otherwise going to ingest part of the fumes produced by the engines. Okay then, anti-ice is off. When N2 has decreased below 20%, like it is now, we can turn the beacon off. If we were flying a passenger aircraft, we would inform the crew that the doors can be opened once we verified the differential pressure is 0. Otherwise, we got to do that ourselves in the freighter. When the doors are open, seatbelt signs can come off, and the parking brake should be used as required. Now, for brake cooling reasons, it is recommended to use the chocks as much as possible. So we are going to toggle the chocks over here, and then we're going to release our parking brake. Okay, so fuel pumps are going to come off except the left inner pump number 2. Like that, and we also turn off the probe and window heat. Okay, at that point, we are basically done up here. We just go down to the transponder, put our TCAS in a standby, and that is our procedure complete. So let's call for the parking checklist. So, APU bleed on, engines off, verified on the indications, not on the fuel levers. You verified on the instruments. Then differential pressure, checked 0. Lights and signs, okay, all off except for the nav and logo, and the strobe can stay in order, and the signs are off. Okay, fuel pumps off except 1 for the APU. Window and probe heat off. Parking brake and chocks, so that's brake off, chocks on. And that's the parking checklist complete. Congratulations, gentlemen! You made your very first flight with the iniBuilds A300 freighter. I do hope that you enjoyed this one, and if you're just taking a look at the position of the nose wheel here, we park pretty accurately down there. So again, my recommendation for taxiing into the gate: look out to the side and pick a spot that's next to where you want to park, and then remember the nose wheel is a couple meters behind that, or behind you. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do let me know in the comments below. I'm looking forward to your feedback on this tutorial series, and obviously there will be a separate tutorial uploaded for the normal manual landing and for a normal straight-in approach compared to this one for the automatic. Thank you very much for watching. If you did like the video, be sure to leave it in YouTube as well, as it does help with the YouTube algorithms, and I'm really looking forward to see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, or Happy Easter holidays, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I see you all again on the next one.